episode 2. We got our little Mothman friend here. Kimberly's introducing. Are we sticking with Baby Mothman?
Yeah.
Or did you name him something else?
I don't know his personality yet. He's quite shy, clearly. We forgot to mention last time.
Oh, yeah.
That we're going to be reading on Reddit stories, either the r/am I the a-hole, and maybe petty revenge. If you're not familiar with those threads, then it's just where people go and tell their stories and complain about life. At least the a-hole ones, situations where it's vague to them, or maybe not so vague.
I mean, maybe vague to them.
Well, sometimes it feels like people are seeking validation. Like, I know I'm in the right. I just want to feed off of people's energy. Like, yes, tell me more how right I am. And we'll do a better job at saying the users that posted. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. We're still new and we're still learning, but we'll get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
But
back into the toxicity we go, okay? Am I the a-hole for canceling my daughter's 16th birthday party? I, 48 female, share 2 children, Pam, 15 female, and Liam, 13 male, with my ex-husband, Marco, 50 male. I share a daughter, Annie, 9 female, with my current husband, Bruce, 46 male. Marco and Bruce are night and day different. Marco works in construction, plays softball on the weekends, and coaches my daughter's soccer team. Bruce teaches at the university, plays the piano, likes to go to the theater, and is an amazing baker and cook. It's not uncommon that we go to one of Pam's soccer games, and then afterwards the whole team comes back to the house to enjoy cookies or cupcakes made by Bruce. At the end of the season, we do a big dinner for the team and their parents that Bruce cooks. Bruce and I have been married for 11 years, and every year for the kids' birthday, he makes the most incredible cakes. Whatever they like that year, he does. We've had Pokemon, Doc McStuffins, Paw Patrol, and amongst others. February is Pam's 16th birthday, her sweet 16. Bruce has been planning this gorgeous cake that encompasses all of Pam's interests and different stages of her life. The other day, another mom sent me a link to a TikTok that Pam and several of her teammates did. It uses an audio from an episode of Family Guy. It's a video of Bruce taking a cake out of the oven with chocolate shake a la Blake playing in the background, followed by a cut to my daughter and her teammates, with Pam holding up her hand and mouthing along to $100, Blake is gay, out of the side of her mouth. When I confronted Pam, she said it was just a joke. I told her that it wasn't funny. Bruce saw her and treated her like his daughter, and it was disrespectful to the both of us. She told me that I was overreacting. I told her that if she didn't take it down and apologize to Bruce, I'd tell him not to make her a birthday cake. She rolled her eyes and said she'd take it down. Shortly after, I was walking by her room and heard her on the phone. It was muffled, but I heard her talk about me being dramatic over my F-word husband. I ordered her to hang up on the phone. She hung up and said she was just blowing off steam. I called her a spoiled, ungrateful brat, and how dare she use that word. She started crying and said she didn't mean it. I told her that her birthday party is canceled. There will be no Sweet 16, and that I was going to tell Bruce to stop baking for the team and that we would never do a team dinner again. I am still so angry. Marco told me that I needed to let it go, that I am expecting too much from a teenager, and that he would have a party for her if I didn't. Bruce was hurt when he found out, but he thinks that we should still let her have her party. My sister tells me not to doubt myself and that I made the right call, but I wonder if I'm still acting with too much hot blood. Edit, the F word I'm referring to is the slur for gay men. I did not raise her to be a homophobe, to use that word, or to disrespect anyone in her life. especially someone who has loved her and doted on her for the moment she came into our life.
See, this is why I can't be. I'm not ready to be a parent because I would be the same as the mom. Like, oh, okay, you want to be this tough guy, huh?
Literally, yeah.
She is not in the wrong here, and the husband is the stepdad, right? So I think he's trying to like still integrate himself well into the family. Mm-hmm. So I feel like makes sense for him to be a little bit more forgiving.
They've been married for 11 years.
Oh.
So he's like been there, like her father to her for like that long already.
What is this kid's problem? I don't understand teenagers. Even as a teenager, I did not understand teenagers.
Anyone has like a baker in their family, like they are cherished and they're so nice.
Great British Baking Show.
Yeah, and it sucks that the poor husband is trying to just do the good thing.
After 11 years. Like, you would think it had barely a year.
Yeah, and then her, like, her ex-husband's over here, like, kind of just, he said to let it go and still let her have a party. Like, he was still going to give her a party.
Wait, I thought she said the stepdad said that.
So Marco, the ex-husband, said to let it go and that she's expecting too much of a teenager. And that if they didn't have a party, he would still give her a party. And then Bruce, he was hurt, but he's like, oh, let's still let her have a party.
I see.
So one is kind of being like...
brushing it off. Like, who cares? Kids are going to be kids.
Yeah, and that's just like... no wonder you're the ex-husband.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't just, like, let that go. Like, these are the things, the life lessons. Yeah. That if you don't address it right then and there... like, that's what makes, like, homophobes and all those kind of people, like, who they are today. So
it's going to reflect in every relationship for the rest of their lives. Like, they're going to think that they can talk down to whoever they want to and have no consequences. Like, that's my fear with having a child. You could probably do everything right, and just exposing them to the world is out of your hands.
And that's what makes just parenting such a, like, 24/7 job, especially when they're younger. You have to make sure that these kinds of things are handled the right way. Otherwise, like, another one to add to the bad bunch. All right, so this is the update. Okay, most of you agreed that I was not the a-hole, but many pointed out that the punishment did not fit the offense and was just meant to hurt. After thinking it over, I agree. I decided to sit Pam down and ask her why she had made the video. She kept saying she didn't know and crying. I explained how this could ruin her future, the bullying that people who are in the LGBTQ+ face, and the consequences of said bullying, and how terrible it is that she would do this to someone who has treated her very well for as long as he has known her. Pam said that several members of the soccer team had used the F slur to refer to Bruce after they saw how he was always baking and cooking for fun. She didn't like it, but she felt if she didn't agree, then she would be ostracized. She agreed to delete the video and apologize to Bruce for her actions. He accepted her apology. Many people suggested that I make Pam and her friends cook for the next team dinner. Soccer season is over, so there are no team dinners until next year. However, Annie's gymnastic class had their family dinner/holiday party on the 16th, which happened to be the same night as the holiday dance at the high school. I contacted the parents of the girls who appeared in the video. A few asked to see the video, and all were deeply embarrassed and ashamed. I told them that we were willing to delete the video and would not refer to it to the school as long as the girls apologized to Bruce, helped prepare the food for gymnastics dinner, and gave up the dance to volunteer at the party and serve meals. Every parent I spoke with was very grateful and agreed it was a fair consequence to their action. So every day after school, from Monday through Thursday, the girls came over and worked in our kitchen. At the end of Thursday, I asked the girls what part of what they did this week was gay.
Sorry, that's such a mom thing to say.
All of them approached Bruce at some point and apologized for being part of the video. At the end of the party on Friday, two of the girls asked Bruce if he could teach them how to prepare a few meals he made for team dinners in the past, and he agreed. I realize not every girl who made fun of Bruce may have been in the video, but a very clear message was sent. We have decided to still hold the Sweet 16. After sitting down with Marco, he explained he'd never heard anything said by the team before, didn't realize it was a team-wide issue, apologized for not having my back, and agreed that it was a fair punishment. He also promised if he heard any slurs from anyone, it would be the end of their time on the team. Nice little happy ending for once in the story. But yeah, I guess she just said it to like fit in. That's a very like teenager thing. You're very like it's very cliquey and you're about appearances and stuff. So I can see why she did it, but also it's very tough to be a parent in that situation and kind of like hold your judgment to make it like a learning lesson, even though no matter how like upset you are.
But I feel like I probably would also have to sit my child down and talk to them about not giving in to
peer pressure.
And that's obviously a cliche, but who's to say that the daughter didn't learn that lesson? Like, you're just improving her friends and kind of improving your daughter at the same time, but also, is your daughter still going to be impressionable? I don't know. I guess every teenager is kind of, and even adults.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing, like whenever they're not addressed, their adulthood is just in shambles because they don't know how to speak up, or they kind of just learn to go with the flow of things without really thinking.
I don't want to ruffle feathers.
Yeah, and because they didn't have those consequences or anything like that, they never really learned, and so they're still the same like teenager they were years ago. So yeah, I wish we could see more of this, whenever kids mess up.
Not the a-hole.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yes, not the a-hole. Yeah, one of the comments really says, like, nice to see grown-ups being grown-ups. Mm-hmm. And nothing has ever sounded more true than that. But I don't know about the other stories, so let's move on.
This wig is squeezing my head
I forget.
That I can't think. Okay. Am I too critical of my family? My family told me today that I am too short with people and lack patience, and because of that, I am hard to be around. A situation that happened earlier today. I was staying with my family for Christmas. My dog has to take medication each day. I was busy, so my mom offered to do it. I usually wrap the pill in lunch meat, but I saw her dip her fingers in peanut butter and give it to him. It was a bit of a mess, so jokingly I made a comment that there was an easier way to do it. I honestly wasn't upset, and I didn't mean to say it in a mean way. But after I made the comment, my sister started yelling at me. She told me that I was being an effing B-word, and that she was tired of hearing me talk to our mom like that. At first, I ignored the comment because I didn't want to argue, but she just kept yelling. I turned to my mom and asked her if what I had said upset her, but she didn't say anything. I turned back to my sister and asked her where this was all coming from because I felt the intensity she was coming at me with was unfair. By this point, I had also raised my voice because I was feeling hurt and confused. My sister yelled that she was sick of me being a B-word and that she would yell at me every time I said something until I finally got it. My sister acknowledged that she thinks some of the time the comments I make are because I'm trying to be helpful if I think there's a better way to do something, but that I should just keep quiet and accept people for who they are. Because of the yelling, my dad came in the room, and he agreed with my sister. I asked them if I was really that hard to be around, and they said, sometimes. I brought up an instance from several days before when I was with my sister, and we were laughing and having fun. Suddenly her mood changed, and she started to leave. I was confused, and I asked her 3 times while she was putting on her shoes and coat what I had done and said that had upset her. But she wouldn't answer me. I texted her the next day apologizing, but I still didn't know why she had been so upset. I told them all that if I'm saying anything upsetting, that they should tell me because I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, and that I was feeling very blindsided by this all today. I suppose my thoughts are, 1, if I am so hurtful and hard to be around, why hasn't anyone said anything to me earlier? 2, if this is true, why am I only hearing this from my family and not from other people in my life? I am now very concerned that I've been upsetting people without realizing it in many areas of my life. I'm feeling very confused and self-critical.
Well, this person seems the type to not know. Is just based off of the information given. Like, they probably aren't aware of like the tone in which, because you could say something and it means all the difference on how you say it and how it sounds. So what may sound like, oh, I'm just giving a helpful advice, but it can come off as like being, I guess, being nitpicky or something. So I feel like their family probably suppressed it for so long that it kind of like was like a boiling pot with a lid. It just came off and exploded. So, I mean, and then to say like they only heard it from their family, I mean, that's pretty normal because, like, you know, your family knows you the best, and I feel like they'll be more inclined to tell you something than like a coworker, because, you know, it's like a person, like a business setting. So, like, you know, they're not gonna tell you like, hey,
can you not?
Yeah, you're kind of being a jerk right now, you know, because, you know, a lot of people are mostly like, they're polite, they won't say anything. Maybe they are. Their question is, am I being too critical?
Well, yeah, that's the main title of the post. But you can't just let it fester and like.
Yeah, for the family, and like, honestly, it's coming from personal experience, I'll be like, you're being so mean. Like, and then they'll like say other instances, and I'm like, oh, well, why didn't you say that a long time ago? You could have saved so much trouble. But yeah, in that sense, yeah, it also, the family never said anything, so they're also kind of like part of the issue.
People can't read your mind.
Yeah, communicate better. I mean, that's good. That kind of got this person thinking like, oh, in other areas of my life, like, am I coming off as, what'd they say?
Hard to be around and too short with people.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you probably are coming off that way, and that's good that there's some self-reflection now.
I don't know. Like, it's probably hard for a person to completely 180 change how they talk to people. Yeah. And the family is probably more on edge or picks up on those things a lot more than, say, somebody at work or somebody they just meet. For example, the dog example that they said, like, oh, there's a better way. Maybe they really did think that they were just being helpful, but because the family's used to hearing it, they're just like,
they probably really took it the wrong way.
Yeah. Versus like, if you're at the dog park and just met this person, they're probably going to be like, oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good input.
So it's kind of, I can see how they're probably like, well, what am I supposed to say?
What did I do, you know?
Yeah. So I feel, are they the a-hole?
In that instance with the dog, no. But maybe they just have some things to work on, and come in this new year, maybe that's what they can work on.
But you know what? Everybody in the comments was saying that they are the a-hole.
They probably have someone in their life that's similar, so maybe they're kind of like, it's like, yeah, they are, you know? Which everyone has one in their family, like someone they maybe think is too critical, I guess that's the word they use. But like, you kind of have to put that thing aside and like really look at the situation for what it is.
Not the a-hole. Room to grow.
Yeah, that's a stamp.
Room to grow. It's like,
maybe you were in the past. Maybe we don't know this person, but
yes, not enough context.
Yeah, that too.
Because a lot of people, it feels like they're projecting.
That's what I'm saying. They probably have someone in their life who's similar. Right. And they're saying, yeah, you are the a-hole, like, you know.
And there's a lot of sort of speculation, because there's this one comment that's saying, I'm 100% sure they told you in nice and calm ways with little hints and broad hints too. How do you know that?
Yeah, like you don't know their family like that.
There's just not enough information.
Yes, not enough information stamp.
But for now, not the a-hole.
Yeah, you're on a fine line there, buddy.
It could go either way.
Okay. This one was interesting because I'm sure a lot of women can probably relate to this. Okay, am I the a-hole for losing it and telling in-laws to stop calling me mama and trying to erase my identity? I have 2 kids. One that's 2 female, one that's 4 female. I effing hate everyone. Okay, I effing hate how everyone thinks of me as just being a mommy now. I don't get to be my own person. I'm just a mommy. Husband doesn't face this. He gets gifts from everyone that have to do with his hobbies. Me, I get a bunch of mommy S-H-I-T. Tee-hee, mommy needs wine. I like matching outfits, and I don't mean like one of those cutesy matching pajama sets that the nurses and horse girls wear in their state.
Don't call them out like that.
I don't mean like one of those cutesy matching pajama sets that the nurses and the horse girls wear in their staged Christmas Insta pics. I mean like people actually think I'm going to go out in public wearing some cutesy matching outfits with my toddlers, as though I think there are many versions of myself or dolls. From the time we got into the in-laws, it was mama this and mama that. At some point, my sister-in-law said it, and I said, you know, my name is Carmen, right? She just looked at me funny and said, of course, silly.
Oh no! Oh
no! Not the silly billies. Okay. I said, so why do you keep calling me mama? You aren't going and calling around my husband Papa. Sister-in-law just looked at me like I had 2 heads and was like, okay. This went on all over Christmas. At that point, I was just like, do you guys mind calling me by my name instead of calling me mama? The same sister-in-law as before did the whole golly gee, doe-eyed thing and said, but you're such a good mama. I said that I'm not just a mom. I gestured to the things that my husband got for Christmas from them and said, why didn't you guys get him anything that says Papa? Everything you gave me is somehow related to me being a mom. Why does he get to be his own person? Mother-in-law grabbed my hand and squeezed it and said that she was sorry and that she made me feel this way. She was just so excited about being a grandma, and she never really thought about things like that. I was feeling a little better until sister-in-law 2 and sister-in-law 3 started going after me. One of them did that whole, are you okay? Do you need to talk to someone? You sound so angry. It isn't healthy. Faux concern thing that's meant to shame you for having an emotional response. The other one was angry and saying that, is being a mom somehow beneath you? And do you think you're better than the rest of us? And all of that. When we finally left, he asked me why, I'm assuming this is the husband. He asked me why I kept it in for so long, and I said that I haven't. No one listened to me before. I've said these things plenty of times. I've always asked them to call me by my name and not some disgusting nickname that boils me down to giving birth. He nodded but said that I'd put a big parlor on the weekend and that I need to apologize for the outburst at some point. I said, as soon as the sister-in-laws apologized to me for dehumanizing me for years, we're at a stalemate. Am I the a-hole?
I'm mad for her.
As a woman, you can understand, like, most women, they're expected to be moms and to have kids and, like, play the whole role. But, like, yeah, they're more than just a mom. They could be a carpenter, or like they can be someone who likes pottery, and like they're their own person. So I get the frustration. It seems like they really kind of played up the whole mama thing. And like, yeah, if you're not used to being called that, it's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, and it's just like everybody's being so patronizing to her. And then the grandma or her mother-in-law, she seemed genuinely like, I'm so sorry, like I'm just really excited, and
Yeah.
it seems like maybe these are her first grandchildren.
Her kids are 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, and
you'd think it would have worn off by now, though.
Yeah, and then that's why she's like, she needs to apologize for dehumanizing me for years. So it's probably going on for like good 4 years. This Opie has offered an explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. And they said, I called out my in-laws for dehumanizing me for years because I'm a mom. I might be the a-hole for making a scene at family Christmas and putting them on the spot. It also came across as though I was ungrateful for the gifts that they gave me, such as Mommy needs wine glass. So I understand, some people have aesthetics and maybe they don't want their aesthetic to be boiled down to just being a mom. Yeah, and there's like the stereotype of a wine mom.
If you're the sister-in-law, you consult your brother. Hey, what would your wife like? Like, what is she into? Definitely no wine bottles that say mama on it, just, something pertaining to her hobbies.
Or her as a person. Yeah, and it seemed like the husband was
not taking her seriously.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you made a scene, so you need to apologize. Like, no, you need to support your wife, and, even if they are your sisters, you're a family now, so you have to, like, make it all work.
Definitely not the a-hole. I would have snapped too. She has more patience than me.
Well, okay, not the a-hole, stamp of approval, great script telling. I was there. I was in the moment.
Yeah, I saw it happen before my eyes. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my mother-in-law to Christmas celebrations? My 31 male, wife 30 female, and I have 1 child, 4 male. And my wife is 6 months pregnant with our daughter, who's due in March. My wife and I have been friends since we were about 5, so I've known her and her parents for more than 25 years now. Her parents were always very approving of us dating, which we started doing in high school. Her parents split up a year after my wife finished high school, and her dad moved out of the picture. So it was just her mom, now 65, primarily. Her mother was the nicest person in the world until our first child was born 4 years ago. Her issue with it was that our son was born out of wedlock. She was very vocal about her disapproval of this, but my wife seemed to be able to get her to come around. However, she since has been cold, passive-aggressive, and in some cases, downright mean to us, and much worse, our son. I wouldn't even say the family is religious, but it seems to just be a custom that's abided by in that family. My brother and sister-in-law both have partners, but are waiting until marriage to have kids, much to my mother-in-law's delight. The last 4 years, she has blown off numerous events, only hanging out with us if her other kids are busy. She didn't even come to our wedding. All of this time, I've been nothing but lenient with her. I've never lost my temper or gotten mad at her, never been vocal or had any resistance to her whatsoever. I've given her hundreds of chances to redeem herself. Last New Year's Eve, we convinced her to babysit our son. We made these concrete arrangements in September and checked in on it multiple times between September and December. As my wife and I were preparing to go out, she canceled on us, saying she had other plans. My wife and I weren't able to hire a babysitter, and so had to stay back with our son, which obviously wasn't the worst thing in the world. In June 2022, we told her we were expecting our second child, and I think you can imagine her reaction. Oh, this time you actually waited until you were married. She gave us hell, mostly through snarky remarks, but while a bit tipsy a couple of days later, she went so far to call us sex addicts because none of her other kids have had kids yet. For all of this year, I've acted like nothing happened. blowing the New Year's Eve and June debacles off, but this Christmas I've decided to take my revenge, and I told her she won't be invited to our family Christmas, which is saying something because even my wife's dad, who we rarely make contact with, is coming. Christmas is a big deal in our family. I should also say that we have never been invited to anything hosted by her, although all of her other kids and their partners are, since our son was born. And in the rare case that she does invite our family, it's always just my wife, specifically excluding me, often explicitly. Now, with me not inviting her, my mother-in-law is furious. My wife is furious. Most of the family is furious. And now I need to know, am I the a-hole?
Wow. Okay. So, first of all, I hate the whole, like, oh, child out of wedlock. Like, and then for her to hate the son. Because, usually sometimes, like, grandparents, like, are, like, disapproving. But then the baby's here and they're like, oh, they're more, like, doting and, like, more welcoming after the kid is here. But for her to hate the child.
Doubled down.
Wow. And then, okay, the whole, you guys are sex addicts thing, like, what? Like, hello? Did you not also have, like, how do you think, yeah, that is just very strange to me. And I don't know, jeez. I don't understand why the daughter in that situation isn't also like somehow like she canceled on you, she doesn't like your kid, she's making all these rude remarks, like, oh, like, is she only gonna love the child that it was made in wedlock? Like, what what is this favoritism? And then the poor kid, definitely he's not the a-hole. I'm happy for him for finally, like, because he's been polite this whole time.
For years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've known each other, he said, since he was 5, right?
5?
Well, they only got married, I think, years later. But they've known each other. They've been friends since they were both 5 years old. So they're
like,
childhood
friends?
Yeah. Like, maybe that's why the mom's so weird about it. I'm not justifying her actions, but I'm trying to get in her headspace. I
completely went over my head, the childhood friend thing.
Yeah. I'm just surprised because Reddit is labeling him the a-hole.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So.
Why? What are the comments? No.
My wife is furious. That's the one thing. Like, because everybody's like, oh, it seems reasonable. I would have cut contact and blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And then, wait, you didn't talk this over with your wife beforehand?
Oh,
you're the a-hole.
Oh, okay. Okay, he's not, I still don't think he is. But, like,
yeah.
He probably should have communicated that. But also, I think she did worse. She did so much worse. And then she didn't go to their wedding.
That's a pretty big statement.
Yeah, like, to not go to your own. You're not going to go to your own son's graduation.
Yeah. She's simply moving from the 5th grade to the 6th grade. Okay, I'm going to read the comments.
Yeah, I was like,
The one I read before, you didn't discuss this beforehand, you're the a-hole. And then somebody says, what if they did discuss before, but it always ends up with, but she's my mother. So why does it always have to end up that he's the one who gives up?
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody says, if they did discuss it but didn't come to an agreement, so he just did whatever he wanted anyway, that's actually way worse. Married people are partners, and things like this need to be agreed upon. If they can't do it alone, they need a counselor or someone else that's neutral to help. If he decides it's me or your mother, then that's what it is, but they need to actually have that conversation. So I think everybody's stuck on the fact that, like, he just made his own decision, not a mutual agreement. Somebody else commented here, doesn't that make the wife an a-hole for not kind of speaking up to her mother and putting boundaries with the mom?
Yeah, she had no communication with the mom saying, like, hey, you need to stop acting that way, otherwise, like, I'm not gonna hang around. You never invite my husband, and he's my husband. Like,
yeah, that's the partner I chose.
Yeah, you're ostracizing him and
my child.
Exactly. Yeah, the wife kind of is. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm all about, yes, communication. You should have an agreement with your partner, but yeah, no, no, no. Buddy, what's his profile name?
Oh, we were supposed to read all of the
yeah,
users.
I forgot
I'm so
to.
sorry. This is from a throwaway account. It's throwaway 884737. It does give an update. Sorry.
Update?
Yeah, I didn't read it, so. But I want to see, like, because it sucks. Everybody's calling him an a-hole, but, like, he's not. Like, you're taking all these hits from your mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
And you're being the good guy. Like, you haven't reacted, and your wife hasn't been supporting you. She should, for her kids and for you and for the family that she's trying to raise up. I'm pretty sure the healthy thing would be to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. But sometimes people don't respond to that.
And she's already canceling on them when they do make plans. So, like, it's already showing that she's not even open to that. So what makes you think she's going to be open to speaking to him? But I want to hear this update.
True. So, thank you for all the replies. They helped me beyond belief, particularly by helping me better wrap my head around the situation. As for my wife and I, she was primarily upset that I had gone over her head on matters regarding her family, and I entirely understand where she's coming from. I've apologized to her, we've talked, and have made up under the promise that we'll work as a team from now on, and I will consult her on anything that involves her, particularly with her own family. As for the elephant in the room, my wife has always recognized her mother as a bit of an a-hole since our son was born, but has constantly operated under the "but she's family" pretense. Now, particularly with the help of these replies, as I explain it to her in a way that revolves more around our children than us, I feel she's beginning to come around to my viewpoint, which is one of wanting to protect our children at all costs and to cut this harmful figure out of our lives. She does not want to cut her mother entirely out, but has promised to, if it is our wishes, prevent her from seeing our son and I, effectively only keeping contact between my wife and her mother. I told her I felt that would be best, and she told me that in that case, it would only be her talking to her mother. She has also scheduled to go to therapy to better grasp the situation and understand where she should go next. She tried inviting her mother, but she vehemently refused, so it's just my wife for now. I now feel as though there's a huge weight that's been lifted off my shoulders and can finally look forward to the birth of my daughter in March without any connotations or drag downs.
The mother-in-law is still being petty. Like, your kids are going to be affected by this the most. They notice these things and how, like, you behave and how you interact with each other. And that can affect them in a negative way. So, yeah, 100% protect your kids at all costs. Glad that the wife is seeing therapy because it sounds like she
has problems with her own boundaries.
Yeah, she does.
So it would make sense for the wife to be struggling to challenge that, after so many years.
Yeah.
But you're right. That would get handed down to their kids. Yes. The kids are going to start feeling like, oh, I can't speak up for myself because my parents don't speak up for themselves. And I'm going to feel unwanted because my grandma didn't want me. I was a mistake. Blah, blah, blah. All of this.
They would notice the division and how they were treated. I still stick by not the a-hole. I hope Throwaway Account sees this too and like,
we support you.
But yes, let's in the new year, 2023, let's focus more on the growth. Healing Mothman. He's here to give you the hugs with his wing.
He doesn't have enough love to go around to heal everybody. Sorry.
Fix your own problem. That's what she's saying. But on that note, thank you for watching, and we hope you stick around for the next episode.
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit that notification bell to get notified whenever
it ended on a beautiful note, and you had please play the calming music.